The two tests investors use before they fund your startup. You had a great pitch meeting. The investor was engaged. They asked thoughtful questions. They told you they were excited. You walked out thinking, we've got this. Then a week later, the investor passed. And you never really understood why. Investors don't invest in startups. They invest in people. And whether they say it out loud or not, they make two evaluations about you before they'll fund your startup. The first evaluation is what I'll call the room test. The second evaluation is what I'll call the backstage test. I've sat across from hundreds of investors and watched diligence unfold in real time. Every investor performs a version of this evaluation. No matter how great your idea is, you need to pass it or you won't get funded. That's what today's video is all about. I'll explain what these evaluations are, how you can lose funding because of them, and what you should do so investors arrive at the right conclusion about you. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. Today's video is divided into two sections. Section 1 is about the room test, and Section 2 is about the backstage test. So let's start with Section 1. Section 1, the room test. This is about how investors react to you when you're presenting your startup. Let's look at the 4 reasons investors will pass on working with you, starting with reason number 1. Reason number 1, you don't fit their prototype. My partners didn't like that you aren't much of a showman. Raul, one of my investors, said to me after I gave an update to his partners at Donald Ventures. But I actually like that about you. Every investor has a prototype of what they think a good CEO should look like. Raul liked my calm confidence. The partners, including Donald, wanted a showman. The reality is you either fit investors' picture of what a CEO should look like or you don't. And that's exactly how our fundraising turned out. It wasn't random that Gil and Raul were our 2 investors. I fit their idea of what a startup CEO should be. Gil and Raul cared more about execution than theatrics. Alignment matters a lot. And this leads directly to reason number 2. Reason number 2, you try to perform instead of be. You can see the danger in Raul's debriefing. What if I took from that debrief that I needed to become something that I wasn't? That I needed to change who I was to raise money? Then I would have failed dramatically. You might have thought that raising money is logical. It's not. A better analogy is thinking of raising money like dating. Investors either fall in love with you or they pass on investing. You can't fake this. The better route is just be confident about who you are. Your confidence will attract the right investors. The wrong investors will never be interested, so there's nothing you can do about them anyways. And this leads directly to reason number 3. Reason number 3, you ignore misalignment. The list of startups that have been killed by a misalignment between you and your investors is a long, long list. For example, Ray had 2 funding options when he was raising his Series A funding. The first offer was a $4 million offer from a group of angel investors. The second offer was a $6 million offer from 2 venture capital funds. It was a tough decision for Ray to make because he didn't feel comfortable with the 2 VC funds. However, despite his concerns, Ray decided to take the $6 million term sheet from VCs, and it almost killed his company. One of the 2 investors blocked his next funding round from closing for 2 weeks. The new investor gave Ray until midnight on Monday to get the new investor to let the funding go through. Ray pushed like crazy to get the investor to back off. The investor relented with 10 minutes to go at 11:50 p.m. Ray did everything right, but make no mistake about it, Ray got lucky too. You might not be that lucky. Now let's move to reason number 4. Reason number 4, investors don't see you as the long-term leader. In the earlier days of startups, it was common for the founding CEO to be replaced after a few years. However, in today's world, this is not as common. It still happens, but most experienced investors know that replacing the founding CEO will destroy the startup. Instead, today's startup investors want to get the CEO decision right from day one. This increases their scrutiny of you. The question investors ask is this: do I want to work with you for the next 7 to 10 years of my life? Now, let's move to Section 2. Section 2, the backstage test. If the meeting goes well and the initial diligence is positive, you move forward. More meetings, more questions, partner meetings, deeper diligence. You start climbing the mountain. And the higher you climb, the more certain you become that the deal will close. But here's the reality. You can get almost to the summit and still get pushed all the way back to base camp. That's the backstage test. Now let's move to reason number 5. Reason number 5, you don't control the narrative. About 2 years into our initial fundraising, we met with U.S. venture partners. After several meetings, we were scheduled to present to the whole partnership before they would offer us a term sheet. 2 hours before the meeting, the partner leading the deal called me to tell me they were passing on the investment. The partner offered to meet with me to explain why they were passing. He told me the reason was due to the very negative backdoor reference checks they had conducted on me. My mistake was I didn't get ahead of the story. Later, I was advising Carl during his fundraising. He was worried because his previous startup that was backed by major VCs in the Silicon Valley had gone bankrupt. I told him that, unlike me, he should get ahead of the story. Don't hide from it, I said. Just tell investors exactly what happened. The right investors won't care. Carl took my advice. He raised his funding, and now his company is worth well over $1 billion. This leads directly to reason number 6. Reason number 6, you underestimate the depth of diligence. You know that investors do diligence on your startup. It's the same thing you do when you hire someone. You talk to everyone you know about the person you're about to hire. Literally, the week after USVP passed on us, we met with Raul. 3 meetings later, Donald Ventures was ready to present us with a term sheet. Raul wanted to meet with me and my co-founders in one final meeting. He asked me, "What will I hear about you beyond the references you gave me?" I'd learned from my USVP experience, and I told him the truth. A lot of people might say I was difficult to work with. Raul was pleased with my answer. Then he turned to my co-founder, Randy, and asked him, "How many wives have you had?" Randy said 4. Raul then said, "I know everything about you." The older you are, the more detractors you will have. The smartest thing you can do is get ahead of the story. Be honest. Tell investors what they're going to hear. Now, let's move to the final reason, number 7. Reason number 7. You haven't built a track record of success. At the end of the day, investors care about one thing more than anything else. Will you and your team execute and make them a lot of money? So a large part of their diligence is about you showing that you can get stuff done. Do you have a following of people that have worked with you in the past that are joining you? Have you been able to grow revenue? Investors want to work with winners, not perfect people, but winners. As you can see from my story, I was far from perfect. Gil and Raul backed me because I got stuff done. Now, if today's video is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. Investors are pattern matchers. We had a unique business model, and many investors liked us, but passed because we didn't fit the pattern of successful companies they'd previously backed. Every investor is different. Gil and Raul didn't care about my negative references. USVP did care. Gil and Raul liked our business model because they'd seen it before and they knew it worked. Other investors didn't get it and passed. That's the challenge you face. Now, if you want to build a pitch that gets the details right, then join me in Zero to Pitch. It's where startup CEOs like you create the first draft of a pitch investors actually want to see. Inside Zero to Pitch, our free community, you get the structure and support to take your pitch from idea to draft so you can finally see what's working and what needs to be improved. Scan the QR code to join. And if you want to fix your pitch and build a company investors will trust, watch the free 20-minute training over my left shoulder. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.